Well, what an inspiring story. From that story to another really inspiring one. When Tracy Aitken started running educational programs at the Retreat Maternity Unit, their impact was absolutely immediate. Now, coming from an abusive background and relationship, the first girl that they saw for counseling was pregnant and adamant on having an abortion. But with counseling and support, she decided not to have an abortion, but rather opt to have the baby adopted. The baby was born and she was named Zoe, which means life. And from that ray of hope, a beautiful story was started. And that's how the Zoe Project was born. Take a look.
Everyone can do with a little help, especially expectant moms and moms with newborns. But if you live in a community that's rife with inadequate resources, where do you go for such support? The Zoe Project, not my project, but one led by passionate volunteers who've been doing the good work helping mothers for the last 20 years. I'm at their center today to find out where it all began. Tracy, you have such a beautiful space here. What is the Zoe Project all about?
The Zoe Project started nearly 18 years ago, just with myself, and it's grown to a point now where there's about 35 volunteers. And it's about empowering young women to make good choices for themselves, their babies, and obviously that impacts their families and the communities. But I think the most important thing we're doing is to love them unconditionally. We're here for them, and I think being accountable has made the Zoe Project stand out. And Zoe in Greek means life, and that is why we've kept to the name, because we want to bring life. If you've got a stressed mom because of drugs, because of gangster, because of domestic violence, you're going to have a stressed baby.
Why have you decided to focus on mothers from Retreat and Hanover Park in particular?
I am a teacher by profession. I came to Retreat and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the people, and they're my family. And I think they go through a lot of issues that other people have no idea what's going on. Obviously, I was a young mom myself, and I wish somebody had told me, hey, listen, you're the queen, you can do this, these are your options. And my heart has been for pregnant women. So definitely Hanover Park and Retreat is our starter.
Among the programs you run are educational skills. What knowledge do you hope to impart on these ladies that come through the Zoe Project?
Okay, we started off, as I say, on one education, which we go into the MOUs and we teach them about pregnancy. So I think the minute you know your bodies and you know what's going on, you can make better choices. And we've gone a step further now, and we are doing the antenatal classes, which is an 8-week program. And then we introduce them to a doula, which is another training program. They can have somebody with them during the birth. We've also started a moms and babies class. A lot of the girls don't have support, they don't have partners. The Zoe becomes a family to these girls.
So the service I've received was very interesting because I'm not a first-time mom. So I thought I knew all of it. But when I came here, I'm like, wow. There was some that I've learned, some that I knew, and some that I would definitely want to implement after my baby's born.
So I benefited by learning a lot of things, like health-wise, like even it's not just for the baby but for myself, what to eat and what to do to keep healthy and fit, as well as breastfeeding, and a lot of tips, that a mother like myself already didn't know before, yeah.
You see being able to help the women and their families as a privilege here at the Zoe Project. How so?
When you hear how strong these women are, and to come and expose themselves to wanting help and to walking with us, I find it an absolute privilege to walk with these girls and to see them achieve a happier lifestyle. All my volunteers have the same attitude. It's nothing they can self-gain out of it.
The one thing that I would take away is I kind of grew up in a bubble. I'm very fortunate, and when I'm here, I see the need for people to care for one another and to love one another and to support each other, especially in this community.
What unites us as a team, I believe, is our belief in the same thing, which is caring for women empowering women, moving them forward, and loving them most of all.
What have you personally enjoyed and gained from the Zoe Project?
To see someone achieve their dreams, to walk with that person, and when they come back years later, to see that it's sustained and to accept what they've learned and actually change things in their life.